Hi, good evening to you. My name is Mr. Ritzik, Michael Ritzik, and I wanted to welcome you to English 162 W1, which is the late start class. And so you have fewer weeks to get more work done. And so there's going to be some weeks in this class where you really have to hustle. But if you have a plan and you keep track of the assignments due and so on, you will be okay. Two books for this class. This one, The Writer's Frequently Asked Questions, is a pretty good little handbook to carry around with you. If you want another handbook, though, that you can use, is your college writing one, is the Brief Penguin Handbook. So I like that one. If you didn't buy this little handbook, though, or don't have the Brief Penguin Handbook, go to the website called the Online Writing Lab for Purdue University. So it's owl.english.purdue.edu. So if I tell you, you need to work on parallel structure, or you have too many run-on sentences, or you need to tighten up your wordy sentences, then you can refer to that. One other place that I would recommend to you is what's called refdesk.com, and that's a good place for reference information of all sorts. And I also like this website called bartleby.com, and they have a little book on there called The Elements of Style by Strunk and White, and you might actually find that helpful. It's only about a 60-page book, but it really focuses on how to tighten up your sentence level writing. So anyhow, I wanted to refer you to that. One website that you may want to also bookmark is the one that's called askherepa.org. And it's a website that has a 24-hour reference library in there and answering questions for students. And so, not for this class, but I had a student that was doing a paper on philosophy, and he emailed me about midnight one Friday night and was asking me a question. And I told him to contact the person at that site. You can do a chat, or you can also do a phone call, but they mostly do a chat. And she referred him to a couple of books and sources for philosophy. This book is, if you buy this online, like at Amazon or whatnot, it'll look like this. Make sure to get this is the full edition at 17 chapters. Do not get the technical communication, a practical approach, the brief edition, because that one's just a really slim one. This one has like 17 chapters, and if you need the ISBN number, the 10-digit one is 013278578-1. So this book actually has 17 chapters in it, and just as a little reference to you, it has a planning form in here as far as when you're doing documents, which is helpful. And that same planning form is also in chapter 1. They even have a planning form if you're doing web-related documents. So I did want to mention to you, though, at least briefly, that in this book, there's a chapter called Style and Technical Writing. When you do get the book, make sure to take a look at the being concise, which goes from pages 638 to about 644. So it just talks about trimming down and tightening up your writing. And then the other one is using the active voice, which is on 644 to 645. We're going to do this one discussion board posting. We're going to, and discussion board 1, which will come in about 2 weeks. But those deal with tightening up your sentence level writing, and then also using the active voice, so showing who did what. So like last summer, I burned my calf on my brother-in-law's motorcycle. So Michael was out in the yard, and Marty came by and asked him if he wanted to ride his motorcycle. Michael rode it around the block, and when he got off of it, he burned his right calf. So you're showing who is doing what. And so that's what the active voice is. So I just wanted to mention that. The only other item that I wanted to tell you about in this chapter is called Plain English and Simplified English. and it's just writing in a clear style for people that are not from this country in particular. And then plain English is English that they use in like government documents, so that there is no confusion there. Um, my dad used to say right sizing, downsizing, or there was another term for it, or you can use RIF, which is reduction in force, and they all mean the same thing. You've lost your job. And when my father was, not doing so well, when he was near passing to the next world, he said to me, "Do not write in my obituary that he went to see his maker or anything like that. He just say he died." And so that's about as simple as you can get. So I wanted to refer you, to that. And when you go into this book, make sure to read chapters 1 through 4. In particular, though, I'd like to refer you to chapter 4. And in that chapter, they talk about the top-down format for technical writing, which basically is um, stating the main findings and conclusions briefly in your introduction, developing them in the body in a redundant and repetitive manner, and reviewing them in the conclusion, because not everyone wants to or needs to read the document from start to finish. And you will see that, like I said, well, that's on page 92 and 93. And then the other point on, they go in the ABC format starting on 94, which is the abstract or the overview. Sometimes they call it in like an introductory summary, an introduction, or in longer reports, they call it the executive summary. So that's on 94 and 95. The body, which they elaborate on 96, you can see that. And then the conclusion on 96 and 97. So I also wanted to show you something which I think pretty much illustrates a really, really, good point. Yeah, it's on pages 244 and 245. If you notice the first one, it's like in paragraph format, and it's not as easy to read. The other one, you notice on 245, where they use like more of a paragraph, or not a paragraph, a bulleted list type of format, and they use commands. They use bold for notes and so on. It's just so much easier, to read. So I just wanted to point that out to you. And I also just wanted to try to find a good example here. Yeah, if you go to page 246, they have a memo. And the one point about that, you notice how they have the introduction, and then the body is installing your scanning software, setting up and using your scanner, and then they have choosing scanning options, and then the conclusion would be labeled there at the very end. So that's pretty much a good example of that ABC format. As I said, for this first week, you just have to do an introductory discussion board, and that would be it. And you have to do that by Friday the 12th, and then you have to respond to what another student said by Monday the 15th. And then for next week, which is the 19th, you have to do assignment 1 on what your friends and family members think of you, assignment 2 on writing effective email, and then the information sheet. But I'm not going to talk about that now. I got up really early today, and I've been trying to work to get this class set up and going, and just had a very, very busy day. So at least you can see what I look like. So if we run into each other, we're at the mall, or getting something to eat, we can say hello. I ran into a person in the restroom this week, and so he said hello. So anyhow, I just wanted to welcome you, and hopefully this will be a good class for you.